Today is a great day for us because just yesterday and every year, 26th of every June, is a day marked out by the United Nations to celebrate drug abuse and illicit trafficking, a fight against it. The theme for this year is people first, not animal, not any other thing, but people first. Stop stigma and discrimination. Strengthen prevention. Don't want to take the issue about drugs as a matter of not receiving our attention, because we know that if that angle is not tackled, the future of our youth may be in jeopardy.
What you don't even start using doesn't cause a problem to you. There's what we say, catch them young, like the director said, you tackle something from the roots.
We have depressant drugs. It's opposite of what? Stimulant. Stimulant increases while depressants do what? Reduces the activities of their central nervous system.
Ensure that your hard disks are not fully loaded. Too much, your brain are not fully loaded. Once it's 50%, any jumps made there, remove them. Any jumps, thoughts. During the break time, you can study and read your book. In secondary school, you have 30 minutes or 15 minutes for your break time. 30 minutes. So in that 30 minutes, you can take time to study and read and become the best student.
If people are meaningfully engaged, the students are meaningfully engaged, they are schooling and they are engaging in other skills like website designing, graphic designing, you talk about AutoCAD, you talk about so many of them that you talk about coding. You will see that one, the person will be economically empowered.
So we should not discriminate. We should not stigmatize them. Those that use drugs, we should bring them together. We should not be judgmental to them.
14.4% of Nigerians between the ages of 15 to 64 are already problem drug users. That they have problems with drugs.
It's not good to take some drugs, and it's not like there are particular stages of drugs. They are the ones that are just starting it, like they are experimenting it, then they become a regular one. Then from regular, you become addicted to it.
My advice is that they should make up their minds, because Speak Out Africa initiative, they are here, and in fact a lot of other agencies to ensure that they help drug addicts so that they can come out of it if they are ready.
I would like to inform them to stop using all those hard drugs, that it can lead to damage of health and functions.
Speak Out Africa is a not-for-profit organization that is into democracy, accountability, and development, general development. And we do this through advocacy, through civic participation, even research, and proper documentation. We had our awareness campaign in several schools within the FCT. The awareness campaign is regarding our upcoming project, which is on School and Skill Nigeria project. And that's why we're having our program here today. So yeah, we went to different schools and we went to educate the students and let them know that drug abuse is harmful and is dangerous to their system.
I find no pleasure in peer pressure. 9, I have no time for crying. And 10, I am a heroine. So I have no time for heroine.
illegal use of drugs without doctor's prescription.
What are the examples of drug abuse? We have heroin, cocaine, Indian hemp,
marijuana.
Illicit trafficking is the illegal movement of people or drugs from one place to another.
Who is a drug addict? A drug addict is a person who depends on drugs. What are the examples of drug abuse? The first we gave was taking drugs without doctor's prescription.
If these young ones are being taught right early to abstain from it, it helps them in the near future. We see a nation that is I can't say completely drug-free, but to a large extent they'll be able to call drug.
We want to thank everyone that has made today a success. We also wish that when we come upon you next time, you oblige us your time, and we know it's going to be wonderful. Thank you so much.
We are aware that the work that NITDA is doing as the arm saddled with digital skills in Nigeria. So we are very much aware, and we are also aware of the key gaps that need to be filled, and that is the essence of these projects. We want to hear from the horse's mouth. We want to benefit from your years of experience, your practical experience, beyond whatsoever. That is why we took it upon ourselves to bring us together under this roof so that we can have a robust deliberation. And we know that we have challenges, we have inhibitors. One of them is drug abuse, that every day keep posing at the face of our children. And we believe that it is more viable to tackle this problem from the roots.
Education, as we all know, is identified as a crucial tool in preventing crime, drug use, and violent extremism in Nigeria. Education is also one of the best tools to invest in the long-term future and in peace, stability, and economic growth of the country. We also have other support to the basic education sector for the 2021-27 season that includes access to basic education for boys and girls, especially in some of those areas where we have terrible statistics.
From the European Union's part, I would like to market and promote also the fact that we give support also when it comes to university and higher education. We have something called Erasmus scholarship programs. Maybe some of you have heard about it. It is about students, teachers, organizations, possibilities to apply for different types of cooperation projects and scholarships to work together with a European institution or higher education.
In our land, Sicily, we have thousands of Nigerians living, and since 10 years we are running life skill education, non-formal education, and even supporting in accesses to formal education and job inclusion, many, especially young women from Nigeria, from different parts of Nigeria, that are living in our city. We are, first of all, on the front line to defend and protect the human rights, and so it's very important for us to be here to work in partnership based on this experience. In Nigeria, we could have 20 million drug users by 2030, and that many students maybe are not understanding the impact that this kind of drug can have in their life and well-being and the future, and also concerning the access to digital tools. We do have only a problem of lack of access to this digital device, but also lack of skill.
Any type of drug that you find in Nigeria, 1 out of 4 is addicted to it. The same with that of cannabis. That is marijuana. That 1 out of every 3 person using this drug is addicted to it. Sometimes we parents neglect our children. It could come from broken home, and then the percentage shows that 28% of some of these people who are addicted to drugs are from broken homes.
We need to arrest the menace of drug abuse and idleness that is luring many of our youth and students into the drug intake. And that is why the aspect of digital skill is coming into play. We have found out, and we can say to fact, that there is a nexus between digital skills. When someone is engaged, he will give less attention to the temptation of drugs.
During these couple of years, EU has really enhanced the financing when it comes to education in Nigeria. We have at the moment, we will launch soon a big project on basic education mainly.
We really want to work in partnership with the Nigerian CSOs because we think that CSOs are an important stakeholder because they facilitate the active citizenship and the participation of citizens in daily life. I think this is one inclusive participation, and fighting inequality is the main important topic for the future of this country.
I learned the effects of drug abuse, such as mental illness, emotional illness, and other things. I also learned the reason why many people go into drug abuse. That is, for example, depression. Then some people go into drug abuse to feel bold and other things.
The disadvantages of drugs abuse are like mental problem, health. They are destroyable health. That's why what man says, show me your friend and I will tell you who you are. If you have a bad friend will drag you in.
We have partnership with a number of international organizations. Coursera is one that provides a number of skill-based training programs, and we partnered to train about 500,000 Nigerians with Coursera. To be at the forefront of a global revolution by leveraging on its human resource advantage for innovative use of digital technologies to disrupt traditional industries and address some of the biggest global challenges.
What kind of support does your school or organization get from the government with respect to drug abuse prevention and digital skill acquisition program? We mentioned campaign awareness on drug abuse, monitoring and evaluation, and supplying of computer to school.
What can be done for sustainable advocacy for drug prevention on secondary schools in Nigeria? We say partnership and teamwork for all stakeholders.
What are the possible disadvantages of digital skill education amongst the youth in Nigeria, particularly at the secondary school levels. Our response is that we focus on harmful practices, misdemeanors, crimes, cyber crimes, the dark web, cyberbullying, and other cyber crimes.
Does your school have a program on drug abuse prevention? And some of our members said yes, they have. And some of these programs that they carry out runs from running clubs like the Drug Free Club, the NDLEA takes charge of. Some of them talked about having programs like talk show.
What do you understand as digital skills? Digital skills, this is a computer literacy that deals with the artificial intelligence that is used to solve society problems using devices such as computers, smartphones, and other Androids.
By the time we teach our students, not just the students now, the youth, parents, on how to use computer, let me come down, because when you say technology, on how to use computer to talk about things that shouldn't be done on drugs, it's going to go a long way to help us.
We have e-learning running concurrently with the normal school teaching and learning, the traditional one. As we are speaking, some schools across the geopolitical states, federal government school, and some other local schools are joining our e-learning platform. And we are beaming this from Akpo here every day. And we have timetable for it. So we are doing e-learning alongside with the normal teaching.
We are looking for a review. That's the issue. When I saw this thing, I was happy. Because instead of talking about integrated, it's already there. But we need to review it. The only problem we have now, you know, that drug abuse is an emerging issue. It wasn't there all this while. And it's dynamic. It keeps on changing. The drug you hear about today and how it is used, by tomorrow, it becomes a new version will come out of it. So it's dynamic. It keeps on changing. And because of that, the topics infused into some subjects curriculum are now obsolete.
When we have sorted out the issue of drug, they now acquire some skills. It will now help in making sure that this country is in a better position. So it's a collaborative something. We need this symbiotic collaboration for us to achieve our aims.
We are saying thank you to our partners, and we are saying a very big thank you for everybody that is here, because you are the ones that have made this program a success.
My belief on behalf of other civil society members who are here is that we are going to come up with really impactful stories, success stories, not just numbers, but stories worth emulating. In fact, we've been busy on my table talking about real life scenarios and projecting into the future, imagining different kinds of outcomes.
Digital skills is global issue. Now the era is about computerized. So we must train our children on how to operate these digital skills and be self-reliant, stand on their feet so that they can get more knowledge about digital skills and they can be prevented from this illicit and immoral behavior of taking drugs without the consent of our doctors.
I want to assure the organizers we are not going to go back home and leave any stone unturned. We are going to make sure that we play our own part, that impacting the knowledge and the values that are already been discussed. There's a difference between impacting just value. We are going to impact life. There's a situation you come to class and just teach something and go without the life being transcended. And that's the most important aspect of teaching.
I think we should not forget about other people outside. Like, this is going through the schools now and also in digital world. But it's not everybody that is using digital things right now. Like, for example, the poor people now. this is also supposed to reach them, the people that are not in schools. Because if you go out there now, you see many people, they are smoking cigarettes and other things, and most of them are just because of poverty and other things. I think there should be a means through which this information should also be passed to other people that are saying outside.
We are going to involve our members to look out for drug addictions in schools and do further, and also to cooperate with the organization that is trying to help out, because we are trying, but honestly it's not easy to take out drugs out of the school system.
At times, people do think that persons with disability are not involved in drug. We are also involved in drug because we are human beings. The disability does not mean or does not reduce us from being human beings. What others like, we like. What others indulge in, we indulge in. So, for us to heal the country, heal the nation, all hands must be on deck.
Acquiring skills, especially for the young generation, and empowering the youths is one of our work. To improve their life quality, because most people that go into drugs, most of them don't have skills. Even if they have skills, they are not improved. So, support in surviving. We help them to manage any emergency situation in of life. How do we do that? Whenever they are in need, we see them, we help them, we bring out of their situation.
We are strengthened with the responses we've gotten. Today was supposed to be just a test ground, whether we are to immerse our complete fruits into the river or we are to withdraw it. But now I think from what we have garnered here, from the responses, from the support, from the assurances, we are more strengthened than we were at the beginning of this event. So I want to thank you people. We are co-stakeholders. We will be drawing from your experiences, from your contacts, from your connections, from everything. Feel free. We are in this together.
We came up with a certain number of ideas and projects that we thought would benefit the youth of Nigeria. And then we're testing the waters to see if that is really the case. And now we have created a youth advisory council also to give us much more feedback on the projects that we do, on the policies that we implement.
Every year in sub-Saharan Africa, there are 20 million young people entering the labor market, more than that there are jobs for. Let that sink in. So the problem of youth unemployment is only increasing.
We came up with about 6 persons who were able to make it through the interview process, which is very objective, and I'll be calling on these 6 persons with the different thematic areas they were.
That all rely on all 6 of you to represent the voice of youth on their behalf. So thank you very much for being a part of our efforts, and best of luck on your endeavors as a youth advisory group.
For today's meeting. So for CFYE, we have pathways to job creation. We are either creating, our partners are either creating jobs, creating new jobs, or they are improving existing jobs, or they are matching talents to opportunities.
Those are the most experienced people or mid-management people that you have that are powering industries and our sectors. And when they leave, what you're seeing is that companies are being forced to promote people that are not ready. And not only is that affecting the productivity of these organizations, it also affects our ability to then raise young people in the workforce because there's nobody to train them.
We have the qualified candidate recommendation. This platform, we have the freelancer platform, like a freelancing platform, where an employer posts job listing, the AI now brings out top 10 candidates that are recommended for that particular job. So the employer has access to candidates as freelancing.
I got about 2 expertise. One person was able to give me original content, another person just gave me a copy and paste of ChatGPT. So because I've gone through and know the difference. So if you go into job interviews and we are given the same copy and paste version of ChatGPT, won't be any difference from other candidates. What will make us different is still our originality, our context, our unique.
There is now a need for the demand side as the company to get creative around how they attract candidates. Right. Of course, there's a thank God for the development space. There's a lot of work ongoing to develop young people, train them, soft skills, and all those things. Great.
Networking will continue to stay relevant. I think when I look at the model we use at LSCTF, that informal conversation will continue to happen, both for formal and informal conversations here. And I mean, when you look at the structure around people institutes and how they went, this career fairs are huge.
Technology also gives us the opportunity to be able to say, okay, first of all, when we map these skills, these are skills that's required, this is the kind of behavioral attitude that's required. How can we then use intelligence, like she had mentioned, to be able to then identify ways where the interview process, and when I say interview, it can be the way we apply for the process, is also able to say, okay, this person, I'm actually exhibits this kind of skills, and we need them for that. So I think that sometimes that's the gap in saying, what's the skills mapping of these different roles? How do we have technology tools and platforms identifying those roles, and then is able to pick it in individuals, and then we then find people who are more suitable for the jobs that are available and are needed or.
How do we operate? We have a mandate to create 200,000 jobs by 2026. We are currently across 11 countries, mostly in Africa, like in Jordan. So we are in Jordan, we are in Sudan, Ethiopia, Ivory Coast, Morocco, Egypt, Tunisia, we are in Uganda, Kenya, and Senegal. And we run the Challenge Fund through by opening a call where we invite private sectors to come forward with innovative areas that will create jobs for young people.
I'm going to be quickly discussing the eligibility criteria from 2 perspectives. The first is, who is our applicant? Who are we looking for? And what solution are we really looking for? As an applicant, we want a for-profit entity to be the lead for this opportunity. So, private sector led, and that's because we want the solutions to be sustainable. And so, applicants must be private sector led. We do encourage consortiums. Your consortium can be made up of government, NGOs, and all of that, but it must still be led by private sector organization. And so the lead applicant must be a private organization.
The objectives of this guidance document basically is to create a network for young employees to learn, be empowered and thrive for effective service delivery, which will in turn help to accelerate their career development and also help improve organizational growth and development. So it's a two-way thing. It's not just for employees to grow and thrive, it's also for the employers to see results and to also grow from having this young people being retained.
We try to see how we could actually facilitate digitally enabled jobs
templates for people who work even in the non-formal sectors as well. Because there's this tendency that once we talk about digital jobs, people try to see the sectors that are mostly urban. But here we also focus on how some of the informal sectors can also be digitalized and also facilitate easy and also better jobs for you.
Trained 100 people in 2019. ABC was our star alum for 2019 because she won our grants. We did a grant competition for that particular set. She won our grants, and after 1 year when we did the review, we saw that a company she had started with 5,000 naira, 500 naira. A company she had started with 500 naira had grown into this, great company in skincare, and then by 2020 she had won the best beauty brand in Africa, and she became our star alum. So I would say educate yourselves. Go online and check and say, how are people outside the world doing it? I went to a conference in January in Munich, and at that conference, what did we learn? I went there, and who did I message? I can't remember. I think I told ABC. I said I felt like someone who was absolutely dumb. And I use the word dumb because I want you to understand how I felt. They were talking 5 years in advance. These were people talking 5 years in advance. They were talking AI. They weren't talking, all these things. So all of you planning to go global. Which global are you going? Who are you going to meet? They've left you and they've gone. They've left you and they've gone 5 years ahead. So if we keep saying we're going global, how we want to start exporting to this one to US, to Europe, they've gone far. Do you know what they're doing with agriculture now? If you're doing end-to-end markets, they start studying the seeds from the time you plant them. So there's a code on the seed that you plant, and then as the seed, they start logging information on that seed as it's growing to the point where it gets to the point where you harvest it and you package it, so that when you send it to an Asda or a Sainsbury's, they scan it and they see all the information that has been logged on it from the beginning. That's where they are.
Lead generation is a process or action of identifying your potential customers, that's your leads, to see if they are actually fit for your business, product, or your service. So you have to qualify them. Are they fit for it? That process of qualifying them, if they actually fit for your business or your service, is called lead generation. Alright, so the first way you can actually generate leads if you are running an offline business is networking. This is a good event. Come to events like this, network with people, relate with people, because when you're relating with people and networking with people, you can exchange maybe your business card, and you get to know if this person might actually become your customer or maybe your client in the future. So why when you generate leads offline is networking.
See, as long as you are gisting every day, you are a storyteller. Some of you have spent time on the phone today, catching up with friends and family. What do you think you were doing? Just talking? You were telling stories. I love to share quotes. The first one is by Steve Clayton, and he says, in an era of information overload, storytelling is the currency that captures people's attention. How many of you agree that there's a lot going on? How many of you are on threads? Like, just when we were thinking, are we done with social media? And then there's a new platform, Threads. It will amaze you. Over the last 5 years, I've spoken on stages across 4 continents. The story that has taken me around the world is the story of running away from home at the age of 22, eloping, becoming divorced at the age of 31, and a victim of domestic abuse. That's the story. So I teach a lot of women that you have to, while you may not be able to turn the hands of time, you may not be able to go back to undo the things that have happened in your life, you can take those stories and you can turn them to profits. I'm a master at it. It doesn't matter how ugly it is, bring it. I will show you that whatever you went through that didn't kill you, gave you a cure. And it is your responsibility to find the cure. Once you find the cure, I will show you how to monetize that cure.
Personnel in the digital space. It's so good to see Dami, Joy, Blessing, our facilitators already on ground. So you are going to learn more about how to, engage and most importantly maximize the digital space. And of course, you know that the digital space is a wide space to be. There is AI, there is graphics designing, there are all sorts, but what we are focusing this today is on graphics designing, introduction to digital marketing, and product design.
What would you advise as your first step? Like, how do I, because there's so many different things online, right? And there's so many different, you see a course today, you see a course tomorrow, you see so many different things. So how do you just say, I want to start?
Don't feel don't just feel like there's anything that is wrong about what you're passionate about. There's no wrong answer, honestly. And that's why I had to mention the money bit. Don't feel like it has to be paid and proper. No, some people really just want to get out of poverty, and I think it's a good career to do that with. So don't limit yourself in terms of, I need to be this or this is the wrong box. There is no box. That's why technology, we're in a generation where there is no box.
But for people saying that, okay, maybe I've spent a couple of, time in training, how do I manage my first contract? What do I need to do?
Once you have learned what you need to learn, then you go out there, market your skills on the internet, get social media platforms, run advertisements, very easy. It's very easy to run advertisements. I think we're going to learn one or two of those things here today. Run advertisements, get people to talk to you, and you can get your first contract. It's that easy.
How do you go about just that, that mistake thing of when someone can see and say, I know the person who most likely behind it.
So when you design, you can either use a watermark, a unique watermark, something that will cover for you in place of the logo, that when someone sees this design, they see something like that next time, they can always remember that, okay, this design, I've seen it somewhere before. So if I come across that 5 times, I'll be like, this design is really nice. Let me quickly check this person out. And also, don't forget to always put your social media handles on your designs when sharing them out, so they can always reach out to you through your handles.
It is an opportunity of now. So don't beat yourself too much about it thinking, it needs to be Nigeria. No, it doesn't. It needs to be anybody that can pay for your service at the cost that cost that you're putting it out for. There are people that can service the Nigerian market. And if you know that you're not one of those people that can pay for 5,000, 30,000 naira,
Uncle, I would advise move on.
If you can start up your digital skills with the young girls like you intend to, then you can have partners that will want to join you, and they'll be able to provide their tools like laptops and everything they need for whatever they need to learn. But first of all, you have to start first. And don't forget that in that same rural environment, there are girls that will be one of the top self-led women in the world. So if you don't reach out to them, there's no way they can become that person.
What is UI UX? UI design means user interface. Like we are looking at the screen now, all what you're seeing, the colors, the typography, the layout, it's done by a UI designer, because a UI designer focuses majorly on how an interface will look, the visual presentation of the design, how the layout will be placed on your design to interact with user when you're using your products. Then when you get to UX design is user experience design. How are users going to interact with your product while using it? So as a user experience designer, you have to think about your users while designing. You don't just design because you feel okay, you found a problem and you just jump to your design tool and you start designing. No, you have to think about your users.
If you're going to run ads, you can target people in the specific location that you want to see your ad, and only those persons get to see your ad. You can target Abuja. I'll advise if you're running an advertisement, don't just go for all the locations that you want to sell. So just targeting comes with being specific. Like talk about the SMART goals. Being specific where you want your audience, where you want to get your customers from.
Trained 100 people in 2019. ABC was a star alum for 2019 because she won our grants. We did a grant competition for that particular set. She won our grants, and after 1 year when we did the review, we saw that a company she had started with 500 naira. A company she had started with 500 naira had grown into this, great company in skincare, and then by 2020 she had won the best beauty brand in Africa, and she became a star alum. So I would say educate yourselves. Go online and check and say how are people outside the world doing it. I went to a conference in January in Munich, and at that conference, what did we learn? I went there, and who did I message? I can't remember. I think I told BBC. I said I felt like someone who was absolutely dumb. And I use the word dumb because I want you to understand how I felt. They were talking 5 years in advance. These were people talking 5 years in advance. They were talking AI. They weren't talking, all these things. So all of you planning to go global. Which global are you going? Who are you going to meet? They've left you and they've gone 5 years ahead. So if we keep saying we're going global, how we want to start exporting to this one to US, to Europe, they've gone far. Do you know what they're doing with agriculture now? If you're doing end-to-end markets, they start studying the seeds from the time you plant them. So there's a code on the seed that you plant, and then as the seed, they start logging information on that seed as it's growing to the point where it gets to the point where you harvest it and you package it, so that when you send it to an Asda or a Sainsbury's, they scan it and they see all the information that has been logged on it from the beginning. That's where they are.
Lead generation is a process or action of identifying your potential customer, that's your needs, to see if they are actually fit for your business, product, or your service. So you have to qualify them. Are they fit for it? That process of qualifying them, if they actually fit for your business or your service, is called lead generation. Alright, so the first way you can actually generate leads if you are running an offline business is networking. This is a good event. Come to events like this, network with people, relate with people, because if you're relating with people and networking with people, you can exchange maybe your business card and you get to know if this person might actually become your customer or maybe your client in the future. So one way to generate leads offline is networking.
See, as long as you are gisting every day, you are a storyteller. Some of you have spent time on the phone today, catching up with friends and family. What do you think you were doing? Just talking? You were telling stories. I love to share quotes. The first one is by Steve Clayton. And he says, in an era of information overload, storytelling is the currency that captures people's attention. How many of you agree that there's a lot going on? How many of you are on Threads? Like, just when we were thinking, are we done with social media? And then there's a new platform, Threads. It will amaze you. Over the last 5 years, I've spoken on stages across 4 continents. The story that has taken me around the world is the story of running away from home at the age of 22, eloping, becoming divorced at the age of 31, and a victim of domestic abuse. That's the story. So I teach a lot of women that you have to, while you may not be able to turn the hands of time, you may not be able to go back to undo the things that have happened in your life, you can take those stories and you can turn them to profits. I mean, master at it. It doesn't matter how ugly it is, bring it. I will show you that whatever you went through that didn't kill you, gave you a cure. Wow. Yeah. And it is your responsibility to find the cure. Once you find the cure, I will show you how to monetize that cure.
Personnel in the digital space. It's so good to see Dami, Joy, Blessing, our facilitators already on ground. So you are going to learn more about how to, engage and most importantly maximize the digital space. And of course, we know that the digital space is a wide space to be. There is AI, there is graphics designing, there are all sorts, but what we are focusing this today is on graphics designing, introduction to digital marketing, and product design.
What would you advise as your first step? Like, how do I, because there's so many different things online, right? And there's so many different, you see a course today, you see a course tomorrow, you see so many different things. So how do you just say, I want to start?
Don't just feel like there's anything that is wrong about what you're passionate about. There's no wrong answer, honestly. And that's why I had to mention the money bit. Don't feel like it has to be prim and proper. No, some people really just want to get out of poverty, and IT is a good career to do that with. So don't limit yourself in terms of, I need to be this or this is the wrong box. There is no box. That's why technology, we're in a generation where there is no box.
But for people saying that, okay, maybe I've spent a couple of, times in training, how do I manage my first contract? What do I need to do?
Once you have learned what you need to learn, then you go out there, market your skills on the internet, get social media platforms, run advertisements, very easy. It's very easy to run advertisements. I think we're going to learn one or two of those things here today. Run advertisements,
get people to talk to you and you can get your first contract. It's that easy. And how do you go about just that, that mistake thing of when someone can see and say, oh, I know the person who most likely behind it. Okay, when you design, you can either use a watermark, a unique watermark, something that will like cover for you in place of the logo, that when someone sees this design, they see something like that next time, they can always remember that, okay, this design, I've seen it somewhere before. So if I come across that like 5 times, I'll be like, oh, this design is really nice. Let me quickly check this person out. And also, don't forget to always put your social media handles on your designs when sharing them out, so they can always reach out to you through your handles.
It is an opportunity of now. So don't beat yourself too much about it thinking, oh, it needs to be Nigeria. No, it doesn't. It needs to be anybody that can pay for your service at the cost that cost that you're putting it out for. There are people that can service the Nigerian market. And if you know that you're not one of those people that can pay for 5,000, 30,000 naira, uncle, I would advise move on.
If you can start up your digital skills with the young girls like you intend to, then you can have partners that will want to join you, and they're able to provide their tools like laptops and everything they need for whatever they need to learn. But first of all, you have to start first. And don't forget that in that same rural environment, there are girls that will be one of the top technology women in the world. So if you don't reach out to them, there's no way they can become that person. What is UI UX? UI design means user interface. Like we are looking at the screen now, all what you're seeing, the colors, the typography, the layout, it's done by a UI designer, because a UI designer focuses majorly on how an interface will look, the visual presentation of the design, how the layout will be placed on your design to interact with user when you're using your product. Then when you get to UX design is user experience design. How are users going to interact with your product while using it? So as a user experience designer, you have to think about your users while designing. You don't just design because you feel okay, you found a problem and you just jump to your design tool and you start designing. No, you have to think about your users. If you're going to run ads, you can target people in the specific location that you want to see your ad, and only those persons get to see your ad. You can target Abuja. I'll advise if you're running an advertisement, don't just go for all the locations that you want to sell. So just targeting comes with being specific. Like talk about the SMART goals. Being specific where you want your audience, where you want to get your customers from.
There comes a time when we heed a certain call, when the world must come together as one. There are people dying. Oh, when it's time to lend a hand to life, the greatest gift of all. Beyond the world, beyond the children, beyond the ones who make a brighter day. So let's start giving.
This is the maiden event of Annan National Corporate Social Responsibility Day. It is a day of history. It is a day wherein we are celebrating goodwill and good faith. In furtherance of Annan's commitment towards building a society and ensuring system stability and economic prosperity, we are here today on a philanthropic gesture to give back to our society for development, for betterment, and for empowerment.
Our people run away from Abuja during 2016, 15 August. From there, I pick up right now. You are welcome. Your population 2,430, both women and men and children, all of them. You are welcome. We are very happy to see you today. I'm very, very happy to see you. You are welcome. May Allah God bless you, all of you. Thank you very much.
We're from the Association of National Accountants of Nigeria, ANAN, one of the two professional accountancy organizations in Nigeria, statutorily recognized in Nigeria. ANAN has placed strain in a lot of things, and this is one of them that we're starting today. This is a maiden edition of corporate social responsibility by ANAN. Beginning from this year, the Council of ANAN approved October 14 every year as the ANAN CSR Day, whereby all ANAN branches worldwide would have will identify the needs of its environment and give forward to its environment so that our community can feel our impact. I will be presenting here some clothes, used clothes to the members of the camp, 15 bags of grains, that is rice, maize, beans, guinea corn. We have 15 bags of that we're presenting here today. We identified the fact that there is a school here, a primary school, and we saw that the children are sitting on the floor, and so we have come with just a few tables and chairs for them. Of course, because there's a school here, we'll also be donating 500 notebooks to the children. We'll be donating 200 blankets to this IDP camp, and we'll also be giving some medical items.
Sunan shi Dr. Kayode Olusola Fasho, shi ne shugaban ma'aikata na ƙungiyoyin akantocin Najeriya wanda ke da mambobi sama da 48,000.
We have been here getting to 9 years in this very camp. Out of these 9 years, I think officially for the federal government of Nigeria to enjoy the federal to tell you whatever we are relying on their food, medication, whether flu, come from good Nigeria as you are. Out of 100%, I think 99.9 come from good Nigeria. Please, when we go to this place, we go to find out that it's one Nigeria. Back in Nigeria, we tell one Nigeria, things have nothing to do with Uganda. You've been here today, Uganda will fly all the way from Southwest to come and give you food. Yes. So we also need you as one of our ambassadors. Please, you give us to collect the advice and start the level to answer for you. You understand, everyone understand what I mean here. God bless you.
I'm so grateful. We are so wonderful to see your beautiful faces in our camp today. We are saying a big thank you to you. This thing that you brought here, the way that the money we give it out, we pray to Almighty God, we return more for you. Amen. This thing will go around and everybody will get it. The way that we are sharing this in this camp. Thank you very much. Baba
memorable events organized by the Association of National Accountants of Nigeria, ANAN. Let me first of all thank Almighty God for making this day a reality. I especially want to also thank the President and the Chief Executive Officer of ANAN. By this event, it is therefore a thing of joy for us in Junior Secondary School Kadokuchi to be beneficiary of the President's call and also of the motto of UBE, which states that education for all is a responsibility of all.
We're from the Association of National Accountants of Nigeria, ANAN. ANAN is one of the two statutorily recognized professional accountancy organizations in Nigeria. ANAN has blazed trail in a lot of spheres, and one of them is what we're doing today. However, we're also mindful of the fact that we owe our community a responsibility of that is corporate and social in nature. We have also come to donate a photocopier for this group. We believe that our leaders of tomorrow, these children that we see here, many of them who will be very, very great tomorrow. In short, all of them will be very, very great tomorrow. That this will go a long way to assist their dreams. Some of them that couldn't have access to notebooks, at least we're sure with 1,500 notebooks, at least some will be able to have a good number of these notebooks, and they'll be able to have these textbooks to read, to prepare for their junior examination. And of course, this computer, I'm sure you have computer lecturers or teachers. These computers are not just going to be here for beauty. You know, there's something when you have a new thing, no, nobody should come here, you don't touch it. No, this computer needs to be touched from now by all the students. You will have them in streams, and they have appreciation courses, on computer, and it will only arouse their interest and motivation in that line.
We really appreciate the effort we started today, especially with your neighbor, Junior Secondary School Kadokuchi. But those who are not neighbors to you are equally hungry for such activities. And as the Deputy Director in charge of NGOs, I'm looking after activities like this to be shared to all the schools. I will be so much glad if you come tomorrow and say we're going to another school in one other area of Abuja. We'll go together with you.
So we'll hand over this laptop, these systems to the principal, staff and students of Junior Secondary School, Kadokuchi. Thank you very much. Everybody that contributed to this CSR, everybody that was not a burden to contribute to the CSR, we are very amazed at how people contributed towards it. We thank God, at least from within us, we are able to raise like 1.8 million or so.
ANAN Council, under the chairmanship and presidency of Reverend Canon Professor Benjamin Chuka Osisiova, approved 14 October of every year as ANAN CSR Day. this is a day that all ANAM members worldwide, including all the ANAM branches in Nigeria and outside Nigeria, are expected to have identified a need in their environment and community and society that they will meet. And on a day like this, 14 October every year, it's expected that all ANAM branches worldwide, including all the 45 branches in Nigeria, will carry out humanitarian services today. And so that's why today we have done that. Some branches are still doing their own now. Today at the headquarters of ANAM, under my leadership as the CEO of the association, we have carried out some humanitarian activities today. Today we've been to the IDP camp at Durumi 1. The camp has been in existence for the past 9 years, and the camp has 2,818 members, inmates. And according to them in the camp, they've only been fed 3 times by government since they came into existence, except for people, individuals and organizations that have been coming to give them things. And so today we were there. They were excited. We're there today with 15 bags of grains for them, rice. When I say bag of rice, it's not the normal 50 kg bag of rice. It's the big sack of that we use, maybe to be up to 100 kg. So we're there with 15 sacks of rice, beans, millet, and then guinea corn and maize. We're also there with medical items that can be used for them for first aid. We even gave them a first aid box as well. We gave them 200 blankets, give some clothes. And when we did our needs assessment on the IDP camp some times back, we discovered that they have a school and the children were sitting on the floor. So we also made some school desk for them and gave them 500 notebooks. From there we went to junior secondary school, Kushikado. They have a computer lab that does not have any system. So we donated 5 sets of brand new computer system. We gave them a brand new photocopy machine in the place. Gave them 1,500 notebooks and 300 textbooks on mathematics and English. At the same time, we also gave them 30 school desks as well. So we've been doing that, but in the wisdom of ANAM Council, ANAM decided to make October 14 every year from today, from this year 2022, our ANAM CSR Day, and it has gone well.
We have to affect the downtrodden, those people who are less privileged, who we feel that we can support one way or the other, like those people in IDP camp, schools, and people within our environment. This is first of its kind. I know that this kind of a thing is going on in the college before, but it has to be extended to the headquarters, so that here in Mabushi environment, they will feel that we are here. So I appeal to all the authority to continue to support this project, so that this next year is better than this year.
It has been my own part of life to reach out to people, especially those that are the less privileged. It has been my life something amazing. And you know, when you reach out to people, there's no way the society will be in peace. Like when I came to Abuja last year, I observed that there are some empty estates around here. People are not living there. Why are we building all these houses when people are not occupying? The money we used to spend on these less privileged people so that we'll be able to sleep well. Some they are building it, nobody to occupy it, and people are hungry. In fact, today I'm the happiest person to go out to the IDP and the schools.
We have gone out today to IDP camp at Durumi and the school at Kado. It is quite revealing that the people were very, very happy seeing us coming around. They have this sense of belonging. They felt happy that we remember them. And from what we heard from their responses, we want to call on government to pay more attention to these people at the IDP camp. They should pay more attention to their welfare, at least if not for them, for the sake of the future generation among them, their children.
It is very, very good to help people with your heart, not only your heart, but free will. Today we went to the IDP camp and the school closer to us here to give them some items that will be beneficial to them, just like the blankets and food stuff. So if you have anything that you can give to them, you can visit any of the IDP camp beside you and help them with anything, with food, with clothing materials, most especially blankets for covering up during the cold weather. Just now, okay, the Harmattan season is coming now, so they really need the blankets to cover up.